Hi everyone, and welcome to this recorded session on Google Ads for social enterprises. Thank you for joining. So I'm Stacey Pledge, and I've been working in Google Ads since 2005, so 20 years. And I wanted to put this webinar together. I'm a supporter of social enterprises. I think it's a great model, but over the years I've been chatting to people that run social enterprises, but also small businesses in general, and there's definitely a bit of a sort of a mystery around Google Ads sometimes, or it could and also sort of a bit of a fear around Google Ads, which is understandable. It is, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's easy. It is complex, but there are ways of being able to get the most out of it. I believe anyway, and yeah, that's what the reason for this webinar is today. Is just giving a really high level view of how Google Ads works, and then some of the common. We won't go in all of the campaigns available, but some of the common ones, ad types, plus different targeting options, how you can target and get in front of the people that you need to sell your products and services. And I'm going to use it where possible with some examples that are social enterprises. Now, I don't think that they're advertising. I have sort of had a look and can't see. Some of them are, but some of the examples. But and I don't know them personally and not my clients, but I just thought it might make it a bit better if I use some actual social enterprises as examples. So yeah, hopefully it will all make sense. Okay, so that's a little bit about me and what we're going to cover. So first of all, we're going to just look at how Google Ads works, the basics. So as I said, a high level just overview of how it works. So it's essentially a pay-per-click platform. So the idea is that you show your ad, and typically, it's not in every single case because there are exceptions, but typically you only pay when someone clicks on your ad, hence the name pay-per-click. So if I go over to Google so we can have a look and see what that looks like. So I've just put in coffee subscription, for example, and here we've got where it says sponsored, we've got these are all shopping ads, so we can see that they've got the images and a title, price, and so yeah, these are all shopping ads. Now there are different types of ad types which I'm going to talk to you about, but also if we typed in best ethical men's clothing, for example, again we can see sponsored, and these are shopping. But down here we can see Brothers We Stand and Wild Mode. So where it says sponsored, these are sponsored search ads. And that's what we're going to be primarily talking about today. Some of the other options, and I'll cover shopping a little bit, but primarily we're going to be speaking about these types of ads. So as we can see, sponsored, then we've got the headline, which is actually made up of up to 3 little separate headlines. And then we've got description, which is in the black lowercase text. So that's the descriptions, and that's actually made up. It's 2 descriptions together. Some of the benefits of them is that you get more control over the message that you are pulling through. So you actually add these headlines and descriptions, and if we just go down a little bit, we can see these are what we call organic listings. So you can suggest to Google what you'd like your headlines and descriptions to be, but Google might from an organic point of view might have a better, or think it has a better idea. So there's sort of a little bit of less control. So with the ads, you've got, if you've got a specific message, for example, that you want to highlight in your ads, you've got a little bit more control over that. So, but as I said, I'll go into a bit more detail with that. But so, and then what happens is I've typed in best ethical men's clothing. I obviously am not going to click on the ad because I don't want to cost these businesses any money. But if I was to click on that ad, then the Brothers We Stand would then pay for that click. So, and I can hear your minds thinking, okay, well, how much would that be? And it's my worst answer, really, or the one that I hate giving the most, is it depends, because I'd love to be able to say, yep, it's going to be this much. There are ways that we can sort of guess roughly how much that might be. So there are tools that we could use, but yeah, it does depend. However, so what does happen is that so because it's not just Brothers We Stand that is bidding on this keyword, so they're bidding on a keyword that will be sort of along this line. So it might be that they're bidding on ethical men's clothing or something like that, or ethical clothing, or it could be that they are bidding on best ethical men's clothing, and then what happens is that they'll go into, it's an auction, so they'll go into an auction with other competitors. So for example, Wild Mode would have gone into the auction, and there'll be ads further down underneath the organic side of things, organic listings. So, but we'll just focus on these two at the moment. So, and it's not necessarily that Brothers We Stand have the highest bid. So it's based on lots of other elements as well. So there's 3 elements that we know about, but Google has other elements as well that they're a little bit more not cagey, it's, what's the word, it's just they don't lay it all out exactly how they determine where you stand in the listings. So as I said, it enters an auction. So there's something called a quality score, which is quite important, and it's made up of 3 parts. And so it will be based on the historical click-through rate. So a click-through rate is something, is a rate at the amount of times that your ad was shown up. So this is an impression. It's just showing up. And then the percentage of how many people have actually clicked on that versus showing up. So then you get a click-through rate. So that's important. Also, your bid is important as well. It could be that it's just too low, your bid's too low to even compete with other advertisers. And then it's your ad copy. So it looks at, so how closely related the best ethical men's clothing is to this, so is to your ad copy, so is there relevancy. And then finally it looks at your website as well, so there, and that's where a lot of people miss as well. It's where you're sending people, and it's how relevant, so what page that they go to, but also the experience as well. Is it a slow loading website? Is it fast, easy to use? But also, is it relevant to what the person is searching? So I've already talked a little bit about search. So we've seen the text ads, which I've just talked about, and local ads are ads that, so if you think of plumbers or electricians, you can do a local ad that is for a service, that, like, for that kind of service, that's what a local ad is. And then the shopping ads we've briefly, so showed you on the coffee, for example. You've got the and the clothing as well, you've got that shopping ads up the top. So, and then other areas that you can put ads are on other people's websites that have Google Ads enabled on it. YouTube. So for those that don't know, Google owns YouTube as well. So you can have video ads on there as well. And it's, if you think about it, it's another search engine really, but it's just people looking and searching for different videos on like to have video content on there. So, and then Gmail, so Google's email, so the free version has got you can put text and image ads on there, and then Google has got an app as well, so you can have ads on there as well. As I said, I'll go through a bit more detail in those, but they're the places or the types of most common ads that you can use. So search campaigns, we've kind of touched on this, but I'll just go over it again in a little bit more detail. So best coffee subscription, I've put a little screenshot there. You can see I've put that search term into Google, and then we can see batch 26, for example, has come up. You can see where it says sponsored, and then the other listings are organic. So Google's pulled some from the independent, but then you've got some Reddit comments coming in as well. So, and you select those keywords. So if I was running a coffee subscription service, I might want to bid on the keyword best coffee subscription. I go into the auction with batch 26, and I've obviously put in my bid forward of how much that might be. I've got good click-through rate history, and my ad copy talks all about best coffee subscription and all the benefits of those. And also I'm sending people to the coffee subscription landing page. So yeah, all things being equal, I should be able to there are other elements, as I said, that Google don't actually say exactly what enables me to be above batch 26, but getting all of those right will stand me in good stead. So as I said, the cost per click varies on industry. However, there is a free tool within Google that you can use. You used to be able to set up a Google account without having to start a campaign, but nowadays you can't bypass that, so you have to do that. But the tool is in there, and you don't actually have to pay for the tool or anything. So if it is something that you would like to use, I do offer a 30-minute free strategy call, so you can just ask me anything about Google Ads. But what we could do is, if it is something that you would like to use, we could use that time to use the free tool within my Google Ads account that I've got running, or I can just help you set that up within that time. So just let me know if that's something you'd want to do. So we'll go to the keyword planner. So this is the keyword planner, and we can go here. We can start with keywords or start with a website. So what I'm going to just quickly do is, as I said, I haven't got any affiliation with these companies, but I just wanted to pick some like social enterprises, so then we can kind of see. So this is Exceptional Individuals. They offer training, so they offer neurodiverse coaching. So it's just having a look and seeing what kind of what kind of searches, and also what it does as well. So I've just used the website for ideas. So Google has gone and scraped the website, and then we've just had a very quick look just to see what kind of search terms that might come up for that. And then let's just have a look at this one. So we've got Blue Bear Coffee as well. So we got specialty coffee. We can see how many searches. Coffee subscription, for example. So in the whole of the UK, there's 5,400 searches on a monthly basis. And we can see that we've got a little bit of an idea of at the low end, it would be a pound or just over a pound a click. And then at the higher end, £2.27. So you can kind of work out, if you've got a budget in mind, what you might be expecting if you were going to bid on the keyword coffee subscription. So, but you might want to think about sort of the person. It might be like ethical coffee subscription. So yeah, you might want to sort of have a look and see whether there's more specific searches out there. So I'll just have a look and see if there's any more here. World, single origin. Yeah, so ethically sourced. Let's just see if we can see if we've got that ethically sourced coffee, and we can just see it's going to give us some ideas as well. So we can see like ethically sourced coffee 50. That's not necessarily looking for a subscription, but we could see like how much traffic there is and how much cost per click as well. So that's the keyword planner. So again, if it's something that you would like to use, or just to see, sign up to the 30-minute free chat, and we can use that. As I said, we can use that time to have a look here. So that is the keyword planner, and that helps just get a bit of an idea of the cost per click as well. So I've talked about the targeting options, so using keywords to find or get in front of the people. So get your ad in front of the people that are looking for exactly what you do. So it is important to really think about those keywords and what you want to be showing up for, because you don't want to go too broad. And you can have further targeting with location. So if you only wanted to focus, say, on the UK or even London or a county, so I'm in Devon, so if you wanted to just focus on Devon, and you can do things like a radius. So if you were a coffee shop, for example, you might want to just do a certain radius around. And also you can target certain demographics, which is like age. You can so if your typical age group is not, or customer of your age group is not 18 to 24, for example, you could say you don't want to advertise to that age group, and so you wouldn't waste any budget on that. Okay, so that's search campaigns. Next, we've got display campaigns. So this is where I mentioned about showing your ad on other people's websites that have Google Ads, visual ads enabled. So a lot of news sites, for example, I'm sure if you go on like Sky News, they have the ads on there, or like Forbes magazine and things, they have the ads on there. And so if somebody clicks on that ad, that advertiser will pay, But also Google obviously gets the money, but the person who owns the website gets a little bit of a kickback as well. So they might get a percentage of that ad. So the person that clicks through, so they can make a little bit of revenue on there. However, there's like a pros and cons of, having ads on your website can be a bit annoying as well. So it is super important with the targeting that you really think about how you target. So you don't want to just go for anybody. It's got to be really thought about where you could place your ad. So it's image or banner ads. They appear on websites, and it's on the Google Display Network. So they are websites where they've allowed Google to show their visual ads on it. Typically, it's lower cost per click. So I just showed you in the keyword planner, we've got some like £1 a clicks up to, I've worked with some clients where it's sort of £50 a click up, depending how competitive that space is. That's why it's quite good to use the keyword planner, just to have a look at how much traffic there is and also how competitive it is. This works well with small brands, just for brand awareness. It's not necessarily, I don't think it's going to blow the socks off of sort of increasing business, but it is a good thing if you do target well. It can be good for brand awareness. So, and the way that you can target is by topics and interests. So I've just created this ad here for a social enterprise, and it's the community essentials, and they've got a pet food bank, and so I just put a little ad together, and just to give you a bit of an idea of what that might look like. And you could potentially, so it'd be topics and interests, so it might be people that are visiting complementary websites. So it could be news websites, but it could also be around maybe debt advice or Citizens Advice Bureau and things like that. So they might be looking to just help with the situation that they're in. So there's the topics and interests. Maybe that could be a way of targeting keywords and placements. So there might be specific websites that you know. So keywords is same as what we were talking about with the search. So you can target people based on what they're typing into Google. So Google picks up on these signals, and it's like, right, okay, these people are searching around this, and we're going to show those visual ads. Placements are specific, so you might have a specific. So let's just say that Citizens Advice Bureau, I haven't checked, I don't know if they do, but if they did enable ads, visual ads on there, that might be a good place to display your ad, and then people coming over. And then you've got in-market and custom audiences. So in-market is if people are showing that they're in the market for buying pet food or something along those lines, it might be something that you might target people that are in market for something. And then custom audiences, they're good for, again, just thinking about Citizens Advice Bureau, and this organisation will probably know certain websites that their clients or customers would go to. So you could build up a custom audience and say, I want to get in front of people that regularly visit these types of websites. Then finally, there's remarketing. So this is becoming more difficult because, rightly so, privacy. So you have to, I'm sure you've seen lots of cookie notices and things. So this is getting more difficult. This is remarketing people that have been on the website and maybe didn't do something, bought something, signed up to a newsletter, and they came away without performing an action that was valuable to you. Then you can say to Google, those people that have done that and opted in for tracking, can I show them an ad as they go and do stuff around the internet? So yeah, that would show up. So that is an option. So an example, as I've said, like reaching people who need your service. So this is another way using display campaigns that are a bit lower. So they're lower cost than search and sort of lower competitiveness, but also getting the brand out there or the service of and trying to get in front of people for that. Okay. So next, I want to talk about video YouTube campaigns. So how it works is video ads play before, during, or they can go after. So after you've watched it, you're going to watch another one. They can do that, but typically it's before and during YouTube videos, and they can be skippable or non-skippable. You have different limitations, which again, I'm happy to talk in more detail. If this is a campaign that you think, yeah, I would really like to go for this, we can, again, we can talk about your specific situation in that free 30-minute session and look at all the options. So this is typically cost per view. So, and it works well for low cost storytelling. So I've literally, I typed into Google social enterprise UK, and and there's this courses in coaching. But if you think about it, it's very similar targeting options as the display. So if we thought about it, and people are maybe like money saving, or just looking, as I said, the organisation will be best placed to know the types of things that people might be searching for on YouTube, on and around, but you can use that to target people with your video. So with this, just going back to this, is the free pet food. So if you want to get in front of people, maybe struggling to feed their pets, then you could then instead of just a visual ad, it might be a short video as well, just explaining how it works maybe. But then just thinking about the coffee as well, or the coaching. So there might be certain YouTube channels, YouTube channels or YouTube videos that okay, the people I need to get in front of, they watch this type of stuff, or they're typing this into YouTube. So again, you can target people very differently as well. So there's lots and lots of options on how, and sometimes that's almost where it gets a bit overwhelming for people, because Google has so many options. It's difficult to know which is the best option for you. But again, happy to chat through if you just want somebody who's sort of knows it and can just a sounding board, just to someone who you can chat through your ideas with. Okay, so other campaigns are shopping, which we've talked about. So the way shopping works is that you have your products on your website typically. You need your website with your products on. And the best way of setting it up is to do what we call a product feed, to something called Google Merchant Center. You then connect your Google Merchant Center with Google Ads, and then you set up a Google shopping campaign. So it is a little bit fiddly to set up, but once it's going, once it is done, they've got everything they need. So Google has to have things like your returns policy, for example, and your postage, and things like that. So it can be a little bit, it's not tricky, it's just there's lots of little bits to do, but as I said, once it's done, You don't actually have to have a feed from your website to Merchant Center. It is probably the most easiest, and it syncs as well. You just think you can get it to sync all the time. So you've got your product levels. You can just run it from an Excel spreadsheet if you need into Merchant Center and then into Google Ads. So, but also it's just to remember that images sell. So it is, you, as we've seen on we go back to the coffee subscription, for example, it's the image has the predominant real estate on there. So if you are going down that route, it's important to have the focus is definitely on product imagery. Okay, so, and then we've got app. Google, I talked about it a little bit. Google's got an app which you can place ads on, and demand gen is a bit of so it's like a mixture of display and video as well. So it's just and Gmail and the Discovery app. So it's a little bit of an all-in-one. I have to say that I don't typically. There's not. I haven't had the need to do, or haven't explored demand gen with many clients because we've just sort of separated those campaigns out. So but yeah, it might be worth exploring that type of campaign. And then we've got performance max campaigns. So this is Google's sort of fully automated campaign. So the idea around a performance max campaign is it's kind of like an all-in-one. It sounds really good on paper, and I'm sure it is going to be, as it evolves, I'm sure it will be good, hopefully. But at the moment, as somebody who's using it all the time, it's not actually as good as separating stuff out at the moment and having those different campaigns. But like I said, I'm sure it will get there eventually. But performance max campaigns are, you give they're essentially keyword less. You don't have keywords in them. You have keyword like themes. So you give it some themes around what you want to show up for, and you give it assets. So you give it ad copy, you give it images, and you give it a shopping feed if you've got products, and you give it videos as well, and also you give it signals, so you can connect your Google Analytics with it, and or you're letting them know, like with conversion tracking, like you're tracking the things that are important to you. So you're giving it signals of like, these are the people that I want to get in front of. So, and the idea is it can reach people at different stages and using different assets as well. So you can take your assets and deliver them at different stages. So it sounds fantastic, but the reality in the performance, like at the other end, is in my experience is not great yet. But as I said, I'm sure eventually it will be good. It's a fully automated AI, machine learning, whatever you want to say, campaign. But I am definitely, with clients that I work with, I'm definitely advocate for testing it, and we use it, but we just don't. It's just not like a key player in the campaigns. They're just sort of there because you need to get to know them, and because they are a sort of a relatively new type of campaign. So that's all the main campaigns and sort of ad types and different approaches. So good starting budget, in my opinion, for a small business, I think for a search, I think you could start at about sort of £300 a month as a small test. You need to use the keyword planner to see if there is actually traffic there for what you're selling, but also really be super clear with your keywords. You don't want to go too broad because that could waste your budget. So you really want to think about the keywords that you're targeting. But I think for about £300, and also tracking is really important. I haven't really covered tracking. That's sort of the next stage, and I'm hoping to do a webinar around that. But yeah, I think about £300. I think that could be a good starting point. Brand awareness, so it's the display and the video that I talked about with the targeting based on all those different ways of targeting. So a campaign, I think you could do about £150 a month would be. You could go lower as well, but I think you could start at sort of £5 a day with that as well, maybe a little bit lower. But best approach for a small budget, I would always say start with search ads because they're high intent traffic, as I've probably mentioned quite a few times in this webinar. It's getting in front of, so you're getting in front of people. As long as you do your research around keyword research, you're getting in front of people that are looking for what you do, looking for your product and service. So yeah, it's high intent traffic, and then using display and YouTube if awareness is what you want to get. So if you wanting to drive sales and leads, then search is definitely a better option first, and then you can kind of grow out and add display and YouTube side of things. But if you're just wanting to sort of dip your toe in, do some brand awareness, and just at least get people out there aware of what you do, then you can use that for sort of that awareness. But it doesn't typically, it's not like it's around that intent if you think about that. So the search is just a higher intent. And also, just to cover, I have written about it. If you go on my website, there's a blog around Google grants. So Google at the moment, at the time of recording, so where are we, July 2025, they offer a Google grant. So that is for registered charities. So if you are also a registered charity, then you, in theory, there are some checks to go through, and I think it's Charity Digital that you go through. They'll take you through the process, but you get up to $10,000, so it works out about £7,000 a month of ad credit to spend. There are limitations, and there are things. You can't just set it and forget it. You have to adhere to some of their rules as well. Like I talked about click-through rate, that has to be a certain level. So yeah, you have to work on it. But again, I'm happy to speak to people. If you want to book a chat, then I can talk you through those options and whether you're likely to qualify. But you do have to be a registered charity. Unfortunately, they don't recognise social enterprises. It would be really good if they did, and you could qualify for that grant, for that free ad credit. But you never know, in the future maybe. Okay, so thank you for joining, and that's everything. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, there's my link. I'll also add this in the description as well, and I've got a link there as well, and I'll put that on my website and in the description for the Calendly link. If you're a social enterprise, feel free if you want to ask me anything about Google Ads. If I know it, I'll help, or I can signpost you